Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's another Sunday. I'm happy to be here live. Now we're going to be discussing today's topic is going to be based on finance, financial management between couples. How do we manage the finance between couples without it generating any rifts? And we're going to be treating some points under this particular topic for today. One of the points we're going to be discussing today is how should couple manage finance? What is the best way for couples to manage finance in their marriage? How can they resolve problems in finance problem in marriage? And how can finance ruin marriages? Alright, thank you for joining us today. As I've said again, I'm going to repeat. Our topic for today is financial management between couples, and I've also reiterated some points we're going to be treating, which thank you for joining us. We're going to be treating 4 very important points. The first is how should married couples handle finance in the family? What is the best way to manage finance in the marriage? How can they resolve problem emanating from finance? How can finance ruin marriage? How can finance ruin marriage? Alright, what is finance? What is finance? We already know literally that what we're trying to discuss or what we're trying to explain in terms of finance is the money, the income that is coming to the marriage, that is coming to the family as the income coming to the family, either made by the wife or the husband to sustain the family, for their upkeep, for the bills paying. Finance, the husband is working in A, the wife is working in B. The money, the end result of this work is for them to at least gather some finance, gather some money to sustain either themselves, their family, their extended family, and also settle bills. How can this affect the family negatively and good positively? A lot of families have been destroyed because finance are not being resolved. Issues resulting from finance are not being resolved amicably, and this is a very strong weapon that can tear apart the family. If you cannot maintain your home, you don't expect that woman to be there. If you cannot maintain the children, then why bringing them forth? So finance is a very strong factor in the home front, and we're going to be talking about how should married couple resolve issues from emanating from finance. How should married couple handle finance? What is the best way to manage finance in the family? How can the couples resolve money problem in family? How can money not being circulated, not being properly managed, ruin a family? Is it possible? Money can ruin family. We're going to be treating that today in our presentation. Now I'm going to be giving 2 definitions of what is finance. Finance is a broad term that describes activities associated with banking, levy or debt, credit, capital markets, money, and investments. Basically, finance represents money, as I've said that earlier, money management, and the process of acquiring needed fund. All this English is still centered around money. Money. Finance is another term, is a term that matters regarding the management, recreations, and study of money and investments. Specifically, it deals with the question of how and why an individual, company, or government acquire the needed money, called capital in the company context. It is called capital in the company context, and this definition and how they spend the investments or invest that money. This definition is from Wikipedia. Alright, what is finance management? What is finance management? If I did not actually go into the details like this, we might not understand the nitty-gritty of what we're talking about in our presentation today. So I will be taking a bit of little definitions before I go into the full discussion for today's presentation. Yeah, finance is the lifetime of a business. However, finance is like most other resources. I go again. What is finance management? Finance is the lifeline of any business. However, finance, like most other resources, are also limited. On the other hand, wants are always unlimited. Money is always limited. Wants are always numerous. They are countless. Most of the times when you bring out your to-do list, you might not be able to meet all those needs because the resources are not there to cover for all those needs. Let's have it in the back of our mind. Let's take a look at the present situation of our country at the moment. For the fuel price has actually appreciated, whereas our income and resources are still static. That is, if you're earning a minimum wage of 30,000 around before, it still remains. The government haven't looked at it. Electricity bill has skyrocketed. What's it called? For gas bill is up in the air, whereas your resources are still static, which of course has actually affected all the prices of item in the market. So resources are always limited and needs are always unlimited. Yeah. So therefore, it is important for our business to manage its resources effectively, even the family, and that is where what we're going to be talking about today. As an introduction to finance management in this article, in this presentation, we will look at the nature, scope, and other parts. We will look at how marriage can be affected, or how married couple can manage or handle their finance. What is the best way to manage finance and marriage? How can they resolve issues that is generating from finance? And is it possible money can ruin a marriage? Is it possible? I'm going to be throwing this last question out, yet still be shedding more light on it as we go on. Thank you. The first question is, how can married couple handle finance? How can married couple? Please share the video. A lot of people will be needing this. Share, like, tag another person. Drop it in your groups, on your WhatsApp, on your Facebook groups. Drop it for your friends and families to join us here live. Yeah, how should married couple handle finance? How should married couple handle finance? On this particular subhead, I'm going to be treating 5 points, shedding light on 5 different points. There are more than that, but I'm going to be sticking to 5 because of our time. We have a whole lot to treat. This particular topic is so broad that I'm thinking it might actually take more than a day, but we're going to be taking it a step at a time. How should married couple handle finance in their relationship? I'm going to be treating 5. They should communicate. Communication means a whole lot. How should married couple handle finance? Communication means a whole lot in marriage and in relationship. If you need to sit down and discuss what's the income that is coming. We discuss the income coming into the family, Discuss the need, the necessary need, not those extravagant needs. I understand, especially on the part of we women, we want to socialize, we want to go to every party out there, we want to keep to status quo at the expense of the men. And some men want to do extramarital activity, which of course it entails a whole lot of money. It's not for free. So we're going to be treating that. Communication, sit down and talk about financial goals and value. That's my point number one. That's the point number two. Remove emotional emotions from financial talk. Come up with a plan to meet your goal for the family. Every family deserves to have a goal. They deserve to have in the early days of the year, we usually have a New Year resolution. Every family deserves to have a goal they want to meet. They should have a project they are handling part time. That is how they can manage and eventually look back at the end of the year and count their blessings. Look back at the end of the year and say, okay, these are things we've been able to achieve despite the pandemic, despite the hardship, despite the lockdown. These are things we've been able to achieve within a short period of time. Yeah, so every family should come up with a plan to meet their goals. Develop a system for finance that works for the both of you. That means the both partners have to sit down and have a systems that will not affect A or will not affect B, but yet carry the both parties along. Then having a weekly financial meeting. All right, I've just enumerated the 5 points now, and I'm going to be breaking them down bit by bit. Yeah. If you have ever been in a relationship, I mean the long-term relationship, especially if you were married or living together, I can almost guarantee you that you have had a money fight. It is not possible for even boyfriend, girlfriends. There will be a time, especially in as much as they are in a relationship, that they had a fight. Thank you. Please share the video, like the video, and tag others. Share to your groups, and please all drop your comments. We're here to educate ourselves. Remember, no man is an island of knowledge. We're only rubbing minds to learn from each other. All right. So if you have ever been in a long-term relationship, especially married or living together couples, I almost believe it is guaranteed that you must have had a money fight. Either you couldn't provide, or either you provide, it isn't enough. One or two ways there might have been one way or the other that there had been a rift or misunderstanding somewhere. One of the biggest cause of problem in relationship, the biggest problem in relationship is difference in values, goals, and habits. When it comes to money, especially communication, you really need to communicate about money issues. Money can't buy love, but it sure can tear it apart. Money cannot buy love, but trust me, it can tear it apart. And I discovered that in our nowadays generation, if they see money, they don't care about any other thing. But that isn't love, because love is always built on a very genuine foundation that doesn't have anything that cannot be attracted by physical material items. So money can buy love, but sure, money can tear it apart. And in the course of this presentation, in 2 simple steps, learn how to talk about money and learn to align your financial goals. If you can do these 2 things, you have done more than what a couple could do. You have done a lot in your relationship to build it on a solid rock. Sit down. The first point I enumerated, I stated earlier, is sit down and communicate about it. Sit down and be transparent, so that when you have, your partner should know that no, he has. When you don't have, he should or she should be able to understand that he doesn't or she doesn't have it at this moment, and that is why they had to manage or make do with what has been provided or what they can lay their hands on. Many couples often neglect these steps of communication. The first step is how should marriage couple handle issues of finance. And my first step is they need to communicate. They need to talk. Sit down and talk about the financial goals and value. Many couples often neglect this step, even if it seems obvious and commonsensical. But because talking about finances can be uncomfortable, they leave this important thing unsaid and often don't even think about it individually. And a lot of couples actually, probably it's an issue from either of the partners. The moment I tell you I earn up to 60,000 naira monthly, if peradventure your partner is somebody that actually that is too flashy, that love flamboyancies, I've said it in my previous video, if you don't cut down your costs on things or live averagely within your limits, you will be doing things over the board, and it pushes the men folks out to do things very uncalled for. Now, the latest car, which that is I've said it like 2-3 times in my various videos. The latest car last year, 2019, isn't the latest car now. There's another one. And trust me, I am too super sure that the producers or manufacturers of either Toyota or any of those car models are actually in the they are cracking heads. They are putting things together to produce that car of 2021, and yet we're in 2020. So what is the crush on being in vogue? I think living a modest life is my own take. If you learn to live a modest life, just look neat, just look moderate, and don't live beyond your limits. Don't push your man or the men out to do things that are really, really not worth the stake. Honestly, remember, you need them as your support system the same way they need us as their own support system. So driving them crazy, wanting to do things, wanting them to buy you, they earn 60,000 naira. The moment you know how much they are earning, you will bring bills, you will bring things that will make them overspend, or you will ensure that the bills you're bringing will exhaust that money. What is the need if there is love? What is the need if there is love? I don't see it in the dictionary of love that says suppress the other partner and kill them with burdens and responsibility. Responsibility, remember, finance is just limited, and responsibility keeps coming. They are unlimited, they are numerous. They are so uncountable. They keep coming. They come in today, you see another one coming in. Unforeseen responsibility, the ones you never even budgeted for, the one you never think will soon suffice, will still come on. So why not cut your coat according to your size, as they usually say? Yeah. So often couple neglect communication. They have goals and values. They neglect the goals and values which, when it comes to money, but they are not examined. It's a mistake, as one person might want to frugal in order to save for future goals, while the other might like to spend and enjoy things for now. Why live your life for now? Why not cover savings and build a better future for your children tomorrow? For your children are home, yet they are paying bills. They are using data. They are online. Some schools will start by tomorrow. Their new term resumes tomorrow. Their online school consumes data. They need the gadgets to even access this online school. They need a gadget. They will still be buying tests. Very soon they have to buy textbooks. Some of them resumes tomorrow, their online class. Yes, they are resuming from home, You're still paying bills, still paying the school fees. So if you accumulate bills and you're not thinking of the future, you're not thinking of how to really save or how to quickly manage. For even the men, some men really cannot really manage finances. But if you're that extravagant woman, you wouldn't be helping them. You really need to work hand in hand, know the weakness of your spouse, know the weakness of your partner, and know how much limit of weight of responsibility he can handle. Do not push them. A whole lot of I've had series of conversations with friends where they say paying of school fees for their husband, of their own kids for their husband, is not their responsibility. Who says? If you are in the position to do it, why not take it? If that man is sincere, his fingers are not equal. So the man, there are cases that the women earn more than the men. There are cases that the man's business was actually flourishing at a time and he had a downtime at a period of time and you needed to support. Who says if you guys have a mutual understanding you can't support your man? Who says? Who says the financial burden should go only to the men? Who says the men too should have the capacity of taking these bills but shoving it and spending their money on the side chicks? Who says? Who said you shouldn't? Remember, they say it is how you lay your bed, you will lie on it. If you neglect or abandon your family today, you're still coming back there. Trust me, whoever you're running out to meet, if you get down a little, they will depart. They will leave you. They will disappear into thin air because they did not have genuine love for you. But your home will forever be your home. Your kids will remain yours. Your home is your rest net that you need to manage, you need to care for. Your home, your immediate family, even your extended family. If something happens to you negatively, which I don't pray anything happen, it's just an illustration. Tomorrow you still have your immediate family, but trust me, those side chicks will not be there. They won't be there because no one. If you rub your hand with oil and you rub it and you have a bleeding finger, it is easy for you to have someone to lick that oil hand with you. But nobody who wants to get infected, who will lick your bloody hand with your finger with you? That is just a food for thought, and that is why we are having this presentation today. So communication matters a lot. You have to sit down on the table, draw the budget, communicate on which, if the woman is working, it is not a bad idea that you both sit together, communicate on this is what you're going to be doing even before you guys get married. It is not a bad idea for you to say, okay, this might be my limit, but if it goes beyond this as the way goes on, you will be taking this responsibility while I share this. It is not a bad idea if there is sincere unity and genuine love. If there's transparency, I think it's a very good thing in every relationship. And our second point now, so is remove emotion from financial talk. And I think this point, removing emotion from financial talk, is seriously hitting on the women. Seriously hitting on the women. From the first meeting about financial goal, from your first meeting about financial goal to your subsequent weekly talk or monthly talk, it is important that the two of you stay calm. Don't get hot or angry over any of these issues, and try to look at these issues objectively. Other financial issues are tied up to all kinds of emotional issues, stemming from childhood, from issues of security, feeling like your ways is better to hurt, and okay, feeling like you're out to hurt your partner. No. Why I said it is centered around the women is that we are the one that is so close to tears. We're the one that, if you say this is how much I have, we don't want to. Some will break down and start. We don't see things objectively. That's what I want to say. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't see things objectively. We just want to center our needs. We're like babies every day. If a child needs something, even if it's not convenient for you, when they want it, they want it. They don't care if that environment is not conducive. They don't care if it's not convenient for you. They don't care. Children, babies, they don't care if it's not conducive, if the environment is not conducive. They don't care if there are some women that they know how to purse up, and there are some men that doesn't like to see tears or doesn't like to make things to see you frowning. And if some women out there really want something from their men, they might make the house very uncomfortable. They make it inconducive for the men, tightening up their face, wearing a very ugly and awkward face, just to make the place unconducive for the man, just to make sure that if he doesn't get this thing for me, he will not have peace. Are you really helping that man? Are you putting sentiment into what you want? The necessary things should be brought to the table. If any woman is tightening up the face or crying because the husband has the school fees and is not willing to pay, it is a beautiful idea, because you're actually building a future. As I've said, communicate and save for the future in my first point. It's a very beautiful idea, but not for frivolities, not for things that are not really necessity. It is not eating, it is not your immediate simple clothing, not all those Gucci's and Pradas that are costing fortunes, not you saying, okay, you must let's complete our building. Those are very beautiful projects that if you eventually achieve this, it's going to be it's going to add a feather to the wings of the man. It's going to bring out their ego. Will make them to be very proud. Not those ones. But there are women that, for frivolities, for things that are just worldly, for things that doesn't really matter, they tend to make the environment very unconducive for the men and push these men. I've listened to testimonies of armed robbers and thieves, or that were caught eventually and said they wanted to satisfy their wife. They don't want to lose their wives. They don't want to lose their girlfriends that bad. And you decided to sell yourself out just for the piece of cake because you want to please someone. And I'm too sure that if those women out there, their partners, didn't lead on, because there are ways we lead on the men doing either exploits. There is a way you can lead on that a man will come into your life and everything will change positively, and a man will step into your life, everything will change negatively. So there is a way you lead them on, and you might not even know. But if you're leading someone on negatively, trust me, we all have conscience and we know what we're doing. If you're leading them on into achieving and making goals and value acquired, you know also. So we've spoken about communication, talk about values and goals, future, what they need to acquire in the future and how they need to save for that. Then we've also spoken about removing emotions from financial talk. Emotions doesn't have anything to do with financial talk, because if you go to the market, it's not even possible for you to start begging, please can you give me a bag of rice? Who will? There is nobody that you go to, that there is no place you go and start pleading and begging and doing all sorts of things that they want to look at you. They might even think you're actually forming it or playing pranks while doing that. Why at that? Alright, the third point is come up with a plan to meet your goals. Yes. As a couple, you need to come up with a plan to meet your goals. How do we achieve this? Our project in the village has been there for years. It is high time. In short, most of this, whatever your man, your husband becomes today, do you know that it is in the hand of the women? if they are good, if they know how to save, if they are growing financially, it is the woman that is the architect. So that means they said behind every successful man there is one strong, unique, focused woman that is pushing the goal into accomplishment. Trust me, there is one woman, that is pushing. And if that man is going to meet his Waterloo, there is also a woman somewhere that might be bringing or be tearing the man down financially. Yeah. Once you are able to come up with a common financial goal, a huge steps, celebrate it. You've been able to know, okay, this is what we want to acquire. We want to build a house. We want to change the car. We want to travel for we're going on a vacation. Celebrate it, because that is an achievement. You need to get a plan. You need a plan to get you there. You must plan. They also say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So in every step you take in life, for you to be able to achieve it, you must plan. And after planning, you must focus. And after focus, you must accomplish. You must target the goal. You must have an head on. You must have your head straight in achieving and acquiring that also. We have spoken, for those that are just joining us, you're welcome. We're talking about financial management between couples. And we've stated some points. My number one point is, how should marriage couple handle finance? 2, what is the best way to manage finance in your marriage? 3, how can we resolve problem in marriage? And the 4th one is a question that all of us were going to answer together. We're going to be answering together. How can finance ruin a family? Can it ruin a relationship? Can it ruin your marriage? Can it ruin marriages? Have you ever heard of where money issues ruin the marriage and they split and they are no longer together till today? Share your experience when we get there. So we've spoken about communication. Sit down and talk about the values and goals. We've talked about removing emotion from financial talk. We're now on come up with a plan to achieve your goal. And that is where I am right now, saying if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We must always learn to plan ahead of time. And when you plan, you get focused. And when you get focused, you head on achieving the goals. You hit the targets rightly, because there is also a plan. The plan is just like you having a foundation already. Whenever you build on a solid rock foundation, you know the house cannot hit the rock. So the 4th point is develop a system for financial working. Yes, you should always have a system. How do we do this? Okay, you are going to get if the both partners are working, coming to a consensus, coming to an agreement that okay, you're going to be fixing either of them, they should need to share it equally in a way that it will not affect any of the partners. You need to have a plan in a way that it will not affect the partners, and you both agree to it, so everybody knows that okay, this is the responsibility I'm taking, that is the responsibility, and the moment there is fun or there is a gap, you quickly fill it in. But that still doesn't mean that if A cannot at that moment, but he has a responsibility, and B can, is it possible for the B to come in? That is, I'm trying to say, if the wife is supposed to buy, let me make example of the cooking gas. If he's supposed to fill the gas, the wife is supposed to fill the gas, and the wife doesn't run out of finance, and the husband, that is where communication comes in. If the husband is sincerely aware that my wife cannot do this because he has actually invested in A or B or C before the end of the month, and it is not yet time for her to get it is not the end of the month where she gets paid. Should the husband come in and fill in that gap? It's another question. Please give us the answer in the comment section. Remember to share, like, tag, and invite others. Yes, the fifth point is weekly. The fifth point is a weekly financial meeting. It might not even be weekly. It might be something that you do on a daily basis. If you have issues, come out transparently to your partners and discuss it. These are my issues, these are my achievements, this is my weakness and my failure. We need support. So it still boils down to communication. Now we're going to the points. The second point. What is the best way to manage finance in your marriage? What is the best way? Now, is it possible for is it right, sorry, it's not an issue of possibility now. Is it right for husband and wife to have a joint account? Is it right for husband and wife to have a joint account? If yes, please let's have it in the comments. And if no, let's drop your comments, drop your opinion. Your opinion counts. We're all learning. Is it right for husband and wife to have a joint to have a joint account or have a separate account? Is it right for a woman to be a full housewife, not doing anything? Is it right for a woman to be a full housewife, just sitting, nursing the kids, reprocreating, giving birth, taking care, feeding the kids, taking care of the home front, just permanently at home? If it is right, please let's have the comments in the comment section. Yeah. Managing your money together, that's joint account. When you are in a serious relationship, there's one of the person that gave us this topic, sorry, I'm going to digress into it. I think I would like you guys to help us out here. The person that gave us this topic is still a single girl, but yet not married, but had a relationship she valued so much and wanted us to discuss this. Why it is a bit difficult for me to center my discussion tonight outside marriage is because it has to do with finance, and I do not support I will not encourage anything joint finance with when you're not married. I will not. Trust me, women are dubious, men are dubious. If you feel this woman is just collecting my money, there are some even working in reputable organization, men, yet they are rogues. They will come all in a very good shades and color. They are rogues. I want for Waraja. So those ones are there. Yes. Alright, thank you. Please drop more comment for us. Is it right for husband and wife to have a joint account? Yes. We want your comments. Your comments will educate someone. Your comments will save our relationship. But in terms of when you're still girlfriend, boyfriend, I totally disagree with you having anything joint when it comes to finance with your boyfriend. Yeah. So we're talking about managing your money together. If you are in a serious relationship, can be risky. Find out your plan for your joint finance. Yes. If you're in a serious, you're married and you intend to have a serious, not by chance, not by mistake. Not by chance, not by mistake. You're not doing it, you're doing it with your both eyes open and with your heart open and with a focus and a target that this is the reason why we are keeping this money together. We're having this joint account for a purpose. For a purpose. I also ask, is it correct for a woman to sit back at home as a full housewife just to manage the kids? Is it right? In our 20th century age and time, is it right? Secondly, it is risky because why I'm saying it is risky for couples that had no aim and objective, that had no focus and value. They don't have something, there's no project ahead of them. They're just keeping this money. They're just keeping this money. For God forbid, if something happens to either of this partner, especially with what is happening or we can hear nowadays, if something eventually happened to the man, what is the fate of this woman? She's at home, she's not doing anything. The little resources the husband is giving, she's still adding. She's at home, she's an housewife. What is the fate of the woman? They are both working, and they are both working and they have a joint account. But the joint account, they don't have a focus. There's no value and goal that they want to use it to acquire or achieve. Is it right? And here I'm saying it is not right. It is right for you to have a joint account with your spouse if there is a particular goal you want to meet with this, because it is only God that knows tomorrow. Find out how your plan, what are your plans of the joint finance to avoid headaches and arguments over money. That is simply my reasons, to avoid headache and arguments over money. If there's no focus, you're saving the money. Probably the husband have a focus of, I want just to travel to Dubai surprisingly, and the wife has the focus of Otedola's daughter is getting married, so I will be needing 1.5 so that I will represent my family nicely. I will be up high there, my shoulders will be raised. You guys must have a mutual understanding. You must be on the same page to know that these are what we want to achieve with this money. Not that eventually it will emanate into an argument. The husband will say this is what we must do with the money. The wife will say this is what we must achieve with this money. So that is my reason for saying it is actually not too right to have a joint account if you don't have a particular understanding before going into these savings together. If you don't have a particular understanding before a particular goal you want to use this money to achieve or acquire. Things to think about when deciding on how to manage your money. You might find some areas where you are happy to share the responsibility, but where you need to reach a compromise on how do we share these responsibilities, how do we manage this tax, how do we acquire this as a family, and how do we progress as a family. Before you get started, try to understand each other's approach and attitude. Some men, their hands are like this. Some women, they just want to spend and show off and wear the most classic clothes. They want to attend the latest party, even if you don't invite them, they invite themselves. They want to take Ashebi here, Ashebi there. You can imagine if when a woman is having, within 2-3 months, you're having 6-7 clothes of Ashebi. Every Saturday, in short, you have crash program in some occasions. You want to go to from a joint occasion, you spend 30 minutes, you go again. What is the stress in life? And you're having a joint account, and both of you, either of you can just walk in there and collect money. The money, the husband. That's why I said it is risky at times If you guys have not sat together to understand what is the aim, what is the goal we want to use this money to resolve, so you both must sit together and come into a compromise that this is our target, this is what we want to achieve at the end of the day. This will help you to find areas where you disagree and where you agree. You can spot potential problem ahead before they come, because before you start having a joint account, you both have sat together, you have communicated, you have reached a compromise, you have reached a consensus. This is what we're going to do at the end of the day. This is how much we need to achieve this. This is what value we're going to get, or this goal we're going to achieve at the end of the year. By so doing, both of you will have a discipline on, this is not where I want to, this is not what we should be doing, this money is not what we can just spend anyhow. This is something we need to this is what we want to acquire at the end of the day. How can we resolve money issues in marriage? How can we resolve money issues in marriage? Argument about money hampers many marriage. It has destroyed a lot of relationship. It has destroyed a lot of marriages. If you consider that about a third of argument of adults with partners reports that money is a big source of conflicts in their relationship. A lot of people has confirmed it, that money has been a lot of issues in their relationship. There is no wonder that financial problems are leading cause of divorce. Financial problems are leading cause of divorce. What you may need to know is that the challenge can actually start even before you say I do. The challenge is you will have been seeing one or two signs that you're not taking seriously, that you feel, there's a saying that says love is blind. Yeah, you might have been seeing the sign that this person might not or will not be a very good home manager at the end of the day when we get married. And eventually when you marry this person, if you're dating somebody and all what the person thinks about is me in a relationship, you should know that there's a problem somewhere. If the person doesn't care about what you feel, how your business is growing, if you have issues, if he's ready to lift you up, or if he's ready to give you a shoulder to lean on, you should know there is an issue. Then when in a relationship your partner is saying mine and not ours, mine, all they care about is mine and not ours, and they don't even for one see to saying yours, there is a problem. If you are committed to a relationship, you and your partner owe each other calm, honest conversation about each other's finance, habits, goals, and anxieties. This is where the ego, anxieties, and control on notions of marital values will have to be checked. When working together, couples can achieve more than single goals. If that is an issue, sometimes before you even go into relationship, you notice that one of the partner is indebted and is still paying up loans and is still paying up some debts. You need to put that too into consideration, so that if there's a place you need to if there's a place you need to bring in strategies to help the partner paying up loans, or strategies to support, which will be fine. Having kids changes everything. Children change everything. Ideally, couples should communicate about the numbers of kids. What kind of school is it? The very big one, very high one? Is it the average? Is it the low class schools? You need to communicate about that. That too will support and help your finance. You need to communicate. Please share the video. We have some comments here. I'm going to take that. going to take that later. All right. So when a partner is saying what is mine, yours, and ours, sometimes each of the spouse works and they get agree on financial issues and talk about them. They decide to split the bill. Yes, we've spoken about this. When the wife will say, this is what I can fix monthly to support the husband, and the husband will say, okay, this and this is what I will be fixing. Yeah, you need to agree on splitting to avoid issue. Bill splitting also push down the road any planning and consensus building about financial burden. It splits the roles. It doesn't make the financial burden to be shoved on the shoulder of the man. It doesn't make the financial burden to be shoved on the shoulder of the man. Debts. I've spoken about it, that one of the partners might actually be owing You need to come in and agree on how you settle that debt so that it doesn't become something that affects the both sides eventually, and even come affecting the kids. Personality. Some people's personality doesn't really save. They just care about them. They want to look so ravishing. They want to look so takeaway. They want to look so exotic. They want to look very expensive at the expense of the home front. At the expense of the home front. Power play. This is on the ego of the man. The man might just want to say, okay, because I am the man, you're working, you should start paying the school fees and pay the house rent. I will do minor things because you're earning more than I do. That is power play. When the man will say, no, I'm not doing this. In as much as you can be earning this, you should take the majority. You should take the higher share of the responsibility in the house. Children. When children comes into the home front, obviously things change. Everything will change. You will now learn the finance. You in short, before the children comes, you should have been planning ahead, because I said earlier that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You should be planning ahead to ensure that you get ready for them, because they are not cheap. To have, you'll be able to talk about how many kids, which school will they be going to, extended family. You can't just live your life with your immediate family alone. You should expect that your extended families will need you to come into their aids and support. Now we're going to be talking about I think it's almost time for us to go down. We've only been able to treat 2 of our topics for subtopic for today. The topic for today is financial management between couples, and we have 4 points to treat. How should married couple handle finance? What is the best way? We've treated that. The second one is, what is the best way to manage finance in a relationship? How can we solve money problem in marriage? That's the next point. Let me see if we can quickly rush on that, but we don't have more time. How can we solve money problem in marriage? Wow. This is actually the most interesting part. I think we need to do this again and complete this section next Sunday. So let me just go through to, we're going to be doing how can we resolve money issues, and is it possible for money to tear down a relationship? Is it possible for going to tear down. How can finance ruin family? So we're going to be treating these two topics by next Sunday unfailing. I wouldn't want to close today in a rush. There's no how we're going to do this, that it's not going to take up to an hour again, and I want us to treat it the way it should be treated. So we're going to be doing the remaining parts, segments, by next Sunday. So let me just take one or two of the comments we have here. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, somebody says you're hitting the nail on the head. Thank you. Yes, on the joint accounts, I asked the question before now, that is it possible is it right for couples to have a joint account? I remember saying it is not right. If you guys have not resolved, or you have not come to an understanding of what you are aiming at, what goal do you want to resolve with this money you're saving together? What do you want to achieve with it? So that it will not become tricky, that you have saved money for A, and eventually either of the partner is saying no, we will not do A, we will be doing B, and Mr. Right, the man will be saying no, we're doing B, we're not doing A. So you must have an understanding before that. That is my own point. That is where I'm saying it's a bit risky, it's a bit dicey to have a joint account. And I also went against having a joint account if you are not married. Please do not take that. If you are not married, the only thing that could join, you guys can only help each other if there is a need, based on the fact that you're friends. But it is not something that must be shared completely. It is a privilege, not a right. If I may put it that way, it's a privilege, not a right. And one thing we most often mistake is mistaking privileges to be rights, and rights to be privilege. If you are being given a right, please don't mistake it for a privilege. If you are in a relationship and your partner wants to, as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't even, if you're working, your partner shouldn't even know how much you're earning, except you're in a serious relationship and it will end in marriage. Why I said if you're in a relationship, your partner shouldn't know, that's if you're not married, what you're earning. Eventually, I've seen a situation whereby the man knows that the woman is earning more and is using the woman, and eventually he won't marry you. So why letting them know that, okay, you're this big? And have it at the back of your mind that most men flee when they hear that this woman is financially stable. They just get very insecure. You just sweep them on. They feel intimidated and their ego can't stand it. Yeah, so somebody is answering us here that yes, it is right to have a joint account, especially for the upbringing of the children, should in case anything happen to either of the partner. And one of the reasons why I said no, it is risky. I've heard and I've watched movies, I've watched home videos where the man dies, the husband, in short, I've seen a movie where the woman is from a very wealthy home and he handed over all the properties to the man she got married to, the husband. She is from the rich home. She handed over all her property to the husband, including her late father's company. Eventually, when this man died, the husband's family came and sent the girl out with the kids, with pregnancy, and sit on it. That is why you can't just completely fold your hand. It is not advisable for you as a woman to completely fold your hand and watch your husband go out and labor. Again, why I disagree with it is that if you sit back as a housewife, you're only killing your spouses gradually. Because the weight of two people, you're shielding it on just one person. It's overbearing, it's overweighing. You're weighing them now. you want to do this, you want to do this, your family is receiving from this man, his own is there. There are friends that might need his help. There are people, unforeseen circumstances. Please, women need to go out there and be a support system. It is high time. We're in the age of being a support system and not being a pest. It is high time you go out and support the man and say, if the man is bringing 60, bring 40. That is the standard, and that is what can earn you your respect. We understand these days that when the men borrow money, they won't return it. Let's look at ourselves like that. When they borrow money, they don't return it. It is normal. But it's the thing of joy that they can even fall back to you as a shoulder to lean on. If you're not working, this little help, this little handshake, they will have gone out to get it. They will have gone out. And trust me, if we women are the one enjoying the dividend of their labor more, we're the one enjoying the dividend of their labor more. But that notwithstanding, I disagree with a full housewife theory. Women, go out and get yourself something doing. That is the only way. That is the only way you can get yourself, earn yourself some respect and dignity in the house. You can support the men and help them grow also. All right. And joint finance should come in when you are married. Yes, I disagree, and this person too is disagreed with the girlfriend boyfriend joint account issues. No, for a woman to sit at home and not work is relative based on the situation the partners are facing. Yes, it is relative, but it is not right. Communication and understanding is the key. Yes, is the key. They need to communicate. She needs to be working. If something happens, I'm not praying, to that man, what will be the fate of the woman? She's not used to it. Before she gets her feet back, before she jumps back, before she starts thinking of what to do, those children will have been suffering. Why can't they just have a head on? Nothing is too small, in as much as you're coming home with a little resource and you're helping to fill in one or two of those gaps in the house. You could take one or two responsibilities on your own. It wouldn't be a woman is sitting down at home. He wants to buy common bra, he will ask the husband. He wants to buy common pad, he will ask the husband. You want to make up, you ask your husband. It makes us lose dignity. It makes us lose value. Trust me, you are asking for petty things, or they will give you money for soup. Now that's when you now start removing money for eye pencil. It is even hard for you to have a man that will give you enough money that will be able to cap up all the list of your needs. Why not be a support system? Why not be a helping hand? Why not be a helping hand? Alright, on these notes, remember I said by next week we're still going to be treating how finance or how money can ruin a relationship or marriage. How can finance ruin a marriage, and how we can resolve the problem of money in the relationship or in your marriage. How finance can ruin a relationship or marriage, and how we can resolve it. These two things will be trashed to the letter on by next weekend, where we're going to be dotting the I and crossing the T adequately. But till then, drop your notes. Remember to share the page and have a wonderful evening.